We're back to making fun of the Cleveland Browns. We're making fun of Dillon Gabriel throwing hospital balls all over the place. We're on Stefanski getting fired watch. And we're on Shedeur Sanders watch. And we got some silent news last night. And it's a small rumor, but it's huge for the Cleveland Browns that we're going to discuss today. And we got the clips. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're making fun of the Cleveland Browns every day. We're making fun of these quarterbacks, how they're handling these quarterbacks. We're on Shedeur Sanders watch, and they're going to break your heart on Sunday, and I'm going to put it back together for you throughout the week. Click that button. Stop missing out. And the big thing right now is we got enough of these quarterbacks. We want to change. We want to change right now.
Let me take issue with a guy who probably doesn't understand. Mark Pothoff says, Rizzo, we are all Browns fans, not just Sanders fans. Yes, Mark, of course. I don't know how old you are, Mark, but I've been rooting for the Browns for 60 years. End of conversation. Okay.
Also, Rizzo,
but I'm also allowed to root for certain players. You know, I also root for Luke Whippler. He happens to be one of my favorite players because he's a center from Ohio State. When he gets in there, I'll root for him. I'm allowed to like someone and the Browns, dude. Like, what is your problem? If you don't like Shedeur, you, and fine, that's great. I do. Enough. Enough already with this. Like, I'm not allowed to root for somebody. Go to hell. Jesus, God, I'm turning it.
The quiet news that impacted the Browns yesterday came from a rumor from Big Draft, Dante Moore, quarterback of Oregon, staying for another year, which means the pool has been thinned out. And if they beat the Raiders, Jets, and Titans, they're looking at QB 4-5 range of the draft because they might sneak out another win. And that being said, they did not develop these two quarterbacks, and they want to draft the quarterback in a nerfed quarterback class.
It feels like if you're the Browns right now, you need to get a look at everything you possibly can, because you're going to be going into a draft where you might have to make another quarterback decision. And I wouldn't want to go into that draft saying, well, I never even got to look at Shedeur. Well, then why'd you even draft him, right? And that's a very, very frustrating conversation for me as somebody that evaluates all these players every year, right? Try to get to well over 300, and I feel like especially getting to talk to, about 45 of them one-on-one at the Combine each year, I generally have a good idea of what guys can and can't do, what the development plan should be for them, and it just blows my mind. Billion-dollar organizations, and this isn't crediting me, it's really just discrediting them, billion-dollar organizations with massive staff and all these things don't have the right plan for all these guys or put guys in, square pegs and round hole situations, and it just feels like the Shedeur case is kind of a waste of everyone's time. Is that egregious to say? Well, I watch their offense as much as I can with Dillon Gabriel, and you can't live in the NFL that way, man. Like, you can't. It's a very, very hard way to play football, and it wasn't that hard of a projection. I think the consensus was that was the kind of quarterback he was going to have to be at the NFL level, and a guy that maybe spot starts for you at times, but they're giving him a genuine run to show, like, can he be anything more than that? And third-round capital is third-round capital. It's not a lotto ticket pick. You should be able to get some kind of decent player with that selection in a good front office.
They didn't develop both rookies. They didn't make a push for them to get competition in camp, and now they got to pay the consequences. Now they got to see what's up with these quarterbacks. They don't know what they have under the hood with them. It's time to see what we got in Shedeur Sanders. It is just time. We've seen enough from Dillon Gabriel. What else is going to happen? More hospital balls? More 5-yard completions? What else is going to happen? Like, he's not going to develop in season. It's got to be working the off season. They got to have competition. It's not going to be right now. Let's see what they got in Shedeur.
Can any of you respond and say you're convinced he's a franchise quarterback, Gabriel? Can you say that? I don't think, in fairness, you can. And I, for one, want to see Sanders before this season is over to know whether we got to make a deal or trade up to get the best possible quarterback that's going to be available in the draft next year. So to answer your question, I think we're getting close with Gabriel to get Sanders in there, and let's see what we got with the kid from Colorado.
The funniest scenario would be is if they move on from Shedeur, trade him, cut him, whatever, this year, next year, whatever, and he pulls a Baker Mayfield. And there's potential for that. that he pulls a Baker Mayfield.
The thing is, I know people don't want to rush him on the field, but if you're thinking about using one of the first-round picks on a quarterback next year, we need to know. We need to know for sure that this guy cannot be the answer. Because I'm telling you right now, they go and draft a first-round quarterback next year because they didn't play Shedeur enough this year, and he ends up going to another team within the next 3-4 years and starts and ends up being a very good quarterback for somebody else. You'll never hear the end of it, ever. You think Baker Mayfield balling out in Tampa Bay is bad? Oh, just wait until Shedeur Sanders goes somewhere else and balls out. It'll be terrible.
This is the time where, like, I was pounding the table to play Shedeur out of the bye, and we can't because he has some back injury. But now you can't, like, we can't even be mad at him, because it's like you can't play the guy who's not practicing. You can't play the guy who's not healthy enough to even be active on game days. It's just, I'm curious, how did he get hurt? Like, I know he's not getting first team reps or anything, but he's still doing stuff in practice. And I know he's putting a lot of extra work in, staying late. So he's doing stuff. I get that, but I don't understand how there's this guy in college. And I watched a decent amount of his games when he was at Colorado because they were on TV all the time. And I watched this dude just get pummeled some games and just pop right up and make throws. And I was like, that was one thing I liked about him. I watched this guy just take shots in the face. Ew. While and then stand up and deliver the football. I walked myself right into that.
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
move on, hurry, go.
Yeah.
And the haters are going to be like, man, nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him. I'm going to say this. He went wire to wire from rookie camp to end of training camp. And the Browns documented all of it. And the beat writers pulled up the favor for him. And like I said, going in, and I said it, all he needs to do is stack days. All he needs to do is stack days because he may not be playing for the Browns here. I've been saying that. And I said it in day 1, too, that the Browns are going to mess with him. I had a lot of haters because they did not understand, like, they wanted him QB1 or whatnot. I was like, the Browns are going to be the Browns, guys. The Browns are going to be the Browns. And they're going to continue to do this. And it happened. It happened. Like, that's why you got the meme and the picture of the jersey with so many names on it. Stefanski does not develop players. That's one thing we've seen. So if they draft the quarterback, they can't have Stefanski. And I don't know what they're going to do. And if they're not going to draft the quarterback and they're going to keep Stefanski, their best bet is going to go to the waiver wire or sign a guy or trade for a guy. And what's that? Mac Jones? What is that? What's that going to look like? What is that going to look like? That's not a deep pool of talent. Now, you can turn and burn it. Some teams have. But that if you stay with Stefanski, that's more than likely what you're going to do because we've seen it in the offseason. Like, they cannot even schedule out the reps appropriately, and they're not open-minded here with the development. They like to hold on tight and stay with their agenda, their schedule, whatever. They don't want to move on from it. He doesn't develop. Who has he developed a quarterback? Who has? Maybe I'm missing something right now. But who has he developed a quarterback? I'm not seeing it through this offseason. I was atrocious with how they handled the reps. And when we saw Dillon Gabriel struggling, and I told you that they should have made it a competition then. Some people would say, hey, make sure they're the QB2 right now. I think both of them would have did well with a good competition right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Instead of playing this round 3 quarterback, round 5 quarterback story. Like, we know the context, and we know these are two good prospects here for what they are. Gabriel, a good backup, and Shedeur with a lot of upside. And you didn't play to that. You played to round 3 quarterback, round 5 quarterback, and whatever you had agenda-wise versus the leadership that wanted Shedeur drafted where he was. You also had way too many quarterbacks. Like, that was a horrendous mistake because divvying out the reps. And plus, like, you wouldn't extend things out like extra reps in practice to get the other quarterbacks reps. Flacco even said he wished he had more reps. Flacco even said that. Like, he did not feel prepared. He didn't say that exactly, but he did say he felt like he had more reps, but he understood, like, he wasn't complaining. That was a long time ago. I just pulled that out of the back of my head. And you know I watch these press conferences to get you guys the clips. He even said that. And they are falling on their face right now. Now they're looking at a nerfed quarterback class. They're probably going to beat the Jets here, because the Jets sold the good components of the team, and their team, they're going to play hard, but subconsciously they know, and the Browns defense is probably going to stall them out pretty easily. And then you got the Raiders. Now they'll put up a fight here. That could be an interesting matchup. They win that one, though. That's a couple more slots back in the draft order. Now, if they beat the Titans, which they probably will, that should be an ugly game defensively for both teams. That's another one. And if they sneak a win against a team that they shouldn't beat, that's it. It's a wrap. You got to look at these rookies, or you got to trade your 2 first-round picks. You don't want to trade your 2 first-round picks if you haven't seen these 2 rookie quarterbacks optimally this year. You haven't seen Gabriel optimally because you didn't push the competition in camp. And Shedeur needs out there. You need to get some games under his belt. Like, if he ain't cashing, even if you win, if Gabriel's not cashing on the field, you got to think to the future, unless you think you're going to win a Super Bowl with this team. Raise your hand if you think this team's going to win a Super Bowl. They're not. So what's the point here? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.